So, Caitlin Clark here. Obviously, a big player in the WNBA, and obviously the face of the damn WNBA. But in this video today, we're going to be talking about something, and it's going to be something that I think it's just mad. Like, we know she sells out basketball venues. Like, that's a given. We all know that happens. Caitlin Clark sells out basically any basketball venue that she sets foot in. And not only that, we have now got Caitlin Clark selling out something that isn't basketball. And you know the way I've always said, like, Caitlin Clark could sell out. If Caitlin Clark just had a shoot around, she could sell out. Caitlin Clark has sold out. I'm not joking when I say this. She has sold out a Women in Business conference has now sold out with her as a keynote speaker.
Clark releases a huge hit. The WNBA and critics are inconsolable. The WNBA and its media commentators are coming up with new ways to minimize, reject, and even make fun of her accomplishments rather than honoring her excellence. However, why does the WNBA, a league in dire need of publicity and money, appear to be bitter toward its brightest star? The response is more illuminating than you may imagine. Since the WNBA does not want success until it looks precisely like they want it to, there is a problem at the core of this so-called professional league that no one wants to discuss.
Clark, step back three, knocks it down! Of that run to the finals before the Liberty fell to the three.
Just for that reason, they're too deadly from behind the arc.
An 11-0 run for New York. Clark,
No rookie in WNBA history has ever accomplished what Caitlin Clark has. How does the WNBA react to her shattering attendance records, attracting millions of new viewers and elevating the league above its previous level of relevance? Do they promote her as the face of their beleaguered organization? No. Instead, they roll their eyes and minimize her, treating her achievements as a hindrance to their meticulously constructed story. When she breaks a record, naysayers quickly downplay it. Yes, she shoots too much and isn't really effective. It's odd that she's receiving so much attention when the media labels other WNBA players who struggle with efficiency as trailblazers. However, when Caitlin takes over, success becomes an issue. It raises the question of precisely whom the WNBA is attempting to promote, the athletes who win or those they admire personally, because it seems like they are more interested in controlling the narrative than in advancing the sport.
2 in the first quarter against Connecticut.
Clark, shot a three. Connecticut, an early 9-point. Bonner gets denied by Boston. Wheeler finds Clark. Points of 9 of 13 shooting.
And 12 assists now for Seattle.
Clark answers, and that is the first.
Let's clarify one issue. The WNBA has an allergy to winning. Although this league depends on NBA subsidies to stay afloat, its players desire to enjoy the NBA lifestyle without making enough money to support it. The sad yet indisputable reality. The WNBA was founded in 1997. However, it still lost $40 million during its most anticipated season ever, thanks to Caitlin Clark. Consider that. They were unable to make a profit despite having the greatest attendance, the best-rated games, and the most talked-about player in history. That would be like winning the lottery and continuing to spend excessively, leaving you broke.
It works both ways. It works always. A lot of little girls from Dallas now that got brought into the game recently because of the boom, because of it's now trendy. The WNBA is now trendy, so there's a lot of parents bringing their kids. A lot of parents that got into WNBA through Caitlin Clark might live in these other cities, bringing their young daughters to games in other cities. And you're seeing how many young girls are fans of Enrique, how many young girls are fans of Angel, how many young girls are fans of Sabrina, of Asia from Vegas. Like, it's a really good thing. Obviously, look, this whole thing really did kickstart from Caitlin Clark, and that's fine. But it's an objective good thing. It's fine that she has the most fans. It's fine that she has the most fans, because everyone has more fans.
Girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why
Same
her?
thing.
Why her?
Well, I was
Because she shoots the ball from 40 feet.
just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games. But I think Caitlin represented And again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she.
4. However, instead of concentrating on creating a successful business plan, many league members feel intimidated. They aren't upset that Caitlin Clark is creating history. Rather, they are upset that it's her and not someone else. Finally, the league that cries out for viewers and attention has a reason for people to watch, but rather than rejoicing, they pretend that they must put up with it. They intensify their resentment rather than making an investment in the one item that is genuinely working. Let's use the NBA as an example. The entire sports world erupted in celebration when LeBron James surpassed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the all-time scoring record. There was never-ending coverage. It was regarded as a moment that would last a lifetime. However, the WNBA community rolls its eyes, asks, "Who cares?" and moves on when Caitlin Clark sets records. This is absurd, and to make matters worse, some WNBA players openly criticize her as though her accomplishment somehow reduces their own. Players didn't criticize Stephen Curry when he transformed basketball with the three-point shot. Instead, they changed, picked up tips from him, and developed. However, Caitlin Clark's own teammates in the WNBA are angry with her for drawing in millions of viewers and money.
I love that she's bringing to her sport.
Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. More people want to watch.
There you go.
More people want to tune in. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it fucked up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA.
Good for you, LeBron.
But for her individually, I don't think she should get involved on nothing that's being said. Just go have fun, enjoy. But I'm rooting for Caitlin because I've been in that seat before. I've walked that road before. Good for you. I hope she kills.
You can pause it right here. Listen, gotta give him credit. Good for you, bro, for saying something like that. Yes. The fact that because he knows what it's like to come in, and from the moment you're getting all that criticism, he relates to him from that side. But I'm glad he didn't use any race baiting card and say anything like that.
I thought that's what was going to happen.
I'm actually impressed with the position he took.
This is why I love comedy.
And the awful irony is that the WNBA says it wants more viewers, more money, and more respect. But when someone really puts all of that on the table, they turn it down because, in reality, they don't want to evolve or grow. Instead, they want to be compensated more for continuing to do the same thing.
Things about this. I mean this. One of the funniest things about all of this is that, one of her biggest business decisions was a fumble. It was a major fumble in Nike. But these are great gigs, not time-consuming, likely very lucrative in a position as a person of influence for both now and the future. I would say they are very lucrative. As far as I'm aware, for a half an hour of Caitlin Clark's time over Zoom, it's like $50K. And it's like $100K minimum for her to show up somewhere. And you would be thinking, if she's showing up outside of Indiana, you would think that it's going to cost her a couple of $100,000. It's going to cost a couple of $100,000. It is. It's very, very interesting. It'd be very interesting to see what is just all around going to happen when it comes to Caitlin Clark, some of the business stuff. But this looks like somebody just sold a house. Not wrong. Does that say sold out?
This is the unpleasant truth. The WNBA is obstructing its own path. They are undermining their best star instead of welcoming Caitlin Clark, demonstrating that they would prefer to be a glorified social club to a legitimate sports league. The NBA embraced its superstars and developed around them rather than dismantling them to become a worldwide force. The WNBA is too preoccupied with figuring out how to make success appear problematic.
Return, ducks it in. Back Bentley stays with her. Blocked from behind. That was Clark. And Clark looking to push. Cross-court pass. Pull. Back to Clark. She will. Clark finds some space and hits a three. Clark over Horston. Hits a three.
You're passing, but Indiana's got to stop letting the ball get into the paint. They've got to keep it out.
Clark, step back. Hits a three.
Defensive board or a turnover and push pace the other.
Onyx on a deep three.
Around women's basketball, they understand their impact and what it has done and how they are living out their dreams today.
And right on cue.
It's been the second
three just below the logo, drills it.
Clark
Pulls off that screen, knocks it down even.
However you got it, Kane Clark is once again setting records, thrilling audiences, and throwing her detractors into a complete breakdown. The WNBA and its media commentators are coming up with new ways to minimize, reject, and even make fun of her accomplishments rather than honoring her excellence. However, why does the WNBA, a league in dire need of publicity and money, appear to be bitter toward its brightest star? The response is more illuminating than you may imagine. Since the WNBA does not want success until it looks precisely like they want it to, there is a problem at the core of this so-called professional league that no one wants to discuss. No rookie in WNBA history has ever done what Caitlin Clark has done. How does the WNBA react? Do they elevate her? She's shattering attendance records, attracting millions of new viewers, and making the league more important than ever. Do they promote her as the spokesperson for their faltering company? No, they roll their eyes instead. They minimize her, viewing her accomplishments as bothersome and a break from their well-constructed story.
Austin, who also has a 15-5-5 game today. Here's Clark, catch, fire, and connect.
11 wins all of winning record.
Clark from way downtown and knocks it down.
They've scored 10 points off of 6 Fever turnovers. That's really the difference.
When she breaks a record, naysayers quickly take it away. Yes, she shoots too much and isn't really effective. It's strange that she's receiving so much attention, because the media refers to other WNBA players who struggle with efficiency as trailblazers. However, when Caitlin takes over, success becomes an issue. It raises the question of precisely whom the WNBA is attempting to advance. The athletes who win, or those they like, because it seems like they are more interested in controlling the narrative than in advancing the sport.
Together, they bring the energy, they take care of their home court, as you would expect. Coach Bluter said normally you don't want that midweek bye after it is Hake. There's a three-point play here late. And you have to give a lot of credit to Nebraska, too, for the way they have battled against this team. This is one of the toughest environments in 27-18. Hey, I have to really appreciate the courage of that young girl right there. Like, this is my opportunity. I am sitting right behind. I'm just going to go ahead and ask. I'm going to shoot my shot. Also, that post. Not the proper protocol to ask Caitlin Clark right at this moment, but they are ready. How huge?
Let's clarify one issue. The WNBA has an allergy to winning. Although this league depends on NBA subsidies to stay afloat, its players desire to enjoy the NBA lifestyle without making enough money to support it. The sad yet indisputable reality. The WNBA was founded in 1997. Nevertheless, it lost $40 million even during its most successful season ever, which was made possible by Caitlin Clark. Consider that. They were unable to make a profit despite having the greatest attendance, the best-rated games, and the most talked-about player in history. That would be like winning the lottery and continuing to spend excessively, leaving you broke.
Clark going to switch on to Dolson, steps back and buries a triple. Indiana has numbers here. Clark looks to take advantage. Clark launches and hits a three. 3 minutes left to play into a race. Here's Clark, catch and shoot. Hits a three.
She knows how to use her body and get to her spots, being able to affect that defense.
Clark is coming off a masterful night and starts us off strong here.
Hit it! Today, with plantar fasciitis, her team is beating Indiana, and it's all right. They followed on Howard her second. If anything, I thought maybe Kalani Brown might have been whistled for something after a rough start. Clark, a little bit of daylight.
However, many in the league feel threatened rather than concentrating on creating a successful business plan. They are not upset that Caitlin Clark is making history. Rather, they are upset that it is her and not someone else. There is now a reason for fans to watch the league that is always begging for viewers and attention. And instead of rejoicing, they pretend that they must put up with it. They intensified their resentment rather than making an investment in the one item that is genuinely working. Players didn't criticize Stephen Curry when he invented the three-point shot. Instead, they adjusted, took advice from him, and developed. The terrible irony is that Caitlin Clark's own teammates in the WNBA hate her for drawing in millions of viewers and money. The WNBA says it wants more viewers, more money, and more respect. But when someone really puts all of that on the table, they turn it down because, in reality, they don't want to evolve or grow. Instead, they want to be compensated more for continuing to do the same thing. This is the unpleasant truth. The WNBA is obstructing its path. They are undermining their best star instead of welcoming Caitlin Clark, demonstrating that they would prefer to be a glorified social club to a legitimate sports league. The NBA welcomed its superstars and was founded around them rather than dismantling them to become a worldwide force. The WNBA is too preoccupied with figuring out how to make success appear problematic. Even after a slow start to the season, she broke more WNBA records in her rookie season than most veterans do in their careers, despite constant criticism from the media and former players and analysts lining up to take shots at her. When she, mind you, took the court, the pressure was immense, the expectations were sky high, and the hate was louder than ever. They said she wouldn't translate to the league, and for a brief period of time when she was getting used to the speed, physicality, and pace of the WNBA, her detractors believed they were correct. However, after a while, she adjusted. She began to illuminate the scoreboard. She started making difficult passes. She became a walking highlight reel, making the skeptics regret their statements in one game after another. Even if she pushes her team to compete, puts butts in seats in front of them, and carries the league on her back, the criticism keeps coming from the media. One shot, one assist, one breathtaking moment at a time. However, Caitlin Clark is better off responding in court rather than using words.
A long embrace and some kind words for her after the game in the handshake line. Just wondering if you wanted to share what those were.
Well, there's not a whole lot of strategy. You got to guard her. Nobody else seems to be able to guard her. We didn't even guard her last year when we beat them. She's just a generational player, and she just makes everybody around her better. That's what the great ones do. I think they had a kid that scored 21 and 18. She had 12 assists. Caitlin Clark's not going to beat you by herself. It's what she does to make those other teammates better that helps her score points and them score points to beat you. What did I say to her? I said, I sure am glad you leaving. I said, girl, you something else. Never seen anything like it.
Fever have retooled, and they have assembled a team that will enhance her game. So this coming season, she is going to deliver the best reaction, sharper, faster, and stronger. The rest of the league is having trouble with this new team, and if you thought Caitlin Clark was deadly the previous season, you haven't seen anything yet. With more weapons at her disposal, more chemistry, and a year of experience under her belt, she is poised to upend the WNBA as a whole this season. When she does, the same critics who made fun of her, minimized her, and ridiculed her will be forced to watch in stunned silence.